films for the Leeds Horror Film Festival was going to be kept as a surprise and not announced until later. The only clue is that it was going to be a premiere showing. When it was finally announced, Charlie's Farm turned out to be a very pleasant surprise. Of course, the four friends that decided to go exploring around Charlie's Farm during a dirty weekend get a surprise as well. Just not a very pleasant one. The Wilson farm was once the scene of a tragic murder spree instigated by Charlie's cannibalistic parents, who were murdered by the townsfolk after they began to get suspicious over the number of backpackers that were going missing in the area. Little Charlie, of course, survived this massacre and is believed to be possibly still lurking around, now becoming the subject of campfire tales and urban legends. Of course, you can probably guess what happens next. Whilst the four friends are poking around the farm, they find out all too late that Charlie is very, very real. And he's not so little anymore. He's now a 7-foot-tall monster that's built like a brick shithouse, and he's hell-bent on revenge. One of the most impressive things about Charlie's Farm is that director Chris Sun has built up such a reputation in the horror genre that he's been able to assemble an absolute top-notch horror cast. Alongside some gifted local Australian talent, the cast also consists of horror legend Kane Hodder, better known as the man behind the Jason Voorhees mask, in a number of films in the Friday the 13th franchise. Not only that, but Tara Reid continues to thrive in her unexpected career resurgence in the horror genre. Which, to be honest, isn't bad considering that she only did Sharknado for a laugh and thought that no one would watch it. Who knew, eh? But the film also uncovers a new star in former Australian strongman and professional wrestler Nathan Jones, who plays Charlie. Jones competed in World Wrestling All-Stars and in the WWE, including a match at WrestleMania 19 alongside The Undertaker. But Jones is making a bigger impact on the big screen than what he did in the squared circle. He was the massive bloke that Brad Pitt's character fought in the opening scene of Troy. He appeared in the live-action adaptation of Asterix at the Olympic Games. He appeared in the Conan the Barbarian reboot. And he's also going to be appearing in the rebooted Mad Max film Fury Road. Oh, and he's practically what Tekken character Craig Marduk is entirely based on. The sheer size of Jones is terrifying enough, and that's without all the prosthetic makeup that he's wearing for this film. As a film itself, Charlie's Farm doesn't really bring anything new to the genre. It's essentially your standard Texas Chainsaw Massacre / Friday the 13th type of horror, but set in the Australian outback. There are some wonderfully over-the-top death scenes in Charlie's Farm, such as one poor bugger who gets his cock sliced off, but despite all that, the audience at this festival didn't seem to be particularly impressed with Charlie's Farm. Whilst every other film at the festival got a standing ovation at the end, this one was met with deafening silence, and I won't say who, but one of our two hosts actually passed me on the stairs and said, worst movie ever. Oh dear. So because of that, yes, Charlie's Farm doesn't exactly do anything new with the horror genre, and I think in this day and age, that's not exactly good enough, so I'm afraid it's only going to be good enough for a rental.
Someone had actually sat down, watched a load of 70s, 80s slasher films and went, oh, I can improve on that. But what they didn't do was actually think about it and improve on it. It had all of the cliches. The only good thing about it was the cinematography.
Kane Hodder.
Except for that, it was crap. Sorry, I can't really.
And the women were pathetic again.
So, it's a dud.
Very, very much wet fart.
Although they'll probably do a sequel now, having said that.
I really don't want one.
To be honest, I don't know what would have been worse. Having Tara Reid surviving.
Oh no, I'm glad they all died.
Yeah, well,
Definitely glad they all died. They deserved to. There wasn't one sympathetic character in that film. There was nobody you could say, I want you to win.
Felt a bit bad for Charlie.
And it was just cliches all the way through, as if it was A to Z of all the cliches you can have in a bad slasher film without thinking about it. When you're in the world where you're beyond Cabin in the Wood, you're beyond Tucker and Dale versus Evil, you're beyond the reinvention of the slasher films with Halloween and all of those, it was just
The same old.
the same mode, same mode. It was just sad.
Wow. Well, join us for the next part, where we'll be taking a look at American Werewolf in London.
We will give good reviews
I'm
too.
sure we will. So come back in the final part for a little bit of this.